Good afternoon, Colts fans. Welcome to Colts Corral. I want to thank everybody for joining me here. Apologize, I haven't been doing this very often, and it's been about 3 weeks since I put out my last podcast. But some things have been going on, and I just kind of decided to wait around until this time before free agency starts to see what happens in the NFL. And I don't want to be one of those guys that are out there that are, oh, we're predicting this and predicting that, and this person's going to go here and this person's going to go there, when in reality none of us knew, or none of us know what's going to happen. Only the 32 teams in the NFL know what's going to happen. So I decided to wait until closer till free agency and put out a podcast, especially after the news yesterday about the Colts trading Carson Wentz to the Washington Commanders. Colts fans, I don't know what to say. I know some of you are thrilled to death that Carson's gone, and I know some of you are upset that Carson's gone. But this is the way I kind of look at it. First and foremost, regardless who's our quarterback, I'm a Colts fan. I will support this team and I'll be a fan of this team regardless of who's throwing the football for us. So I've been a Colts fan ever since they moved here to Indianapolis. And I remember those dark days back in the early 80s. And, that's when you became a loyal Colts fan. If you could stomach those games and sit through those, then this is easy. So, I understand people are upset. I understand people are excited. But I just want to say this. Guys, please look, Chris Ballard is the general manager for a reason. He knows what he's doing. I mean, it's every day. People are on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, criticizing him for not doing this, not doing that. I mean, I think some people will think that, if there's a player out there that you can just automatically call up their agent and say, we want them to come to the Colts. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way, folks. That player has to want to come to your team, and not everybody wants to come to Indy. I'm sorry, but there's other destinations out there that players like. Just, for instance, Russell Wilson in Denver. I don't think it would have mattered. We could have offered Seattle 6 first-round draft picks, and Russell wasn't coming to Indy. He wanted to stay on the West Coast. He had a no draft clause, no trade clause. So his choice. He wasn't coming. Same with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that was a pipe dream, but Aaron's gone back to Green Bay. But people, I know there's true football fans, people who are in the know, that understand the game, understand how it works. But there's a lot of us out there, a lot of people out there that don't. And those are the ones that, get on Twitter and Facebook every day and complain about this, complain about that, fire Chris, fire Frank. They don't know what they're doing. And then when they do something, those are the same people that are out there praising them. Oh, they're the best thing ever since sliced bread. So just, to kind of clear things up, before free agency starts and we start hearing this from all these people about every move we make or every move we don't make, I just wanted to clear up a few things before the frenzy begins on the 16th. For one, like I said, if there's a free agent means that, yes, they're available and we can sign that player to a contract, but that player has the right to refuse to go to that team. So even though we want to pay him a bunch of money, they might not want to come here. They might have a better destination place, like, down in Miami or in Tampa, a warmer weather climate, some place that they don't have state tax. There's a lot of things that go into it. What concerns me is going into this free agent frenzy is right now we don't have a quarterback. So we want to get some premier wide receivers. Well, how are you going to convince wide receivers to come to the Colts when the Colts don't even have a quarterback? Yes, okay, take that back. We have Sam Ellinger, but you know what I mean. We don't have our QB1 on the roster ready to go. So that could be an issue facing the Colts unless a decision is made here within the next few days and we get that quarterback on the roster. Two, like I was saying, just because they're a free agent, usually they're a free agent for a reason. That means their prior team didn't want to bring him back. Now, granted, a lot of times it's a financial reason. They can't afford him. They've gotten too expensive. They're fighting to get under the cap, and it's a financial decision, and they have to cut and move on from a player. And I understand that. The players want to get paid. I want to see the players get paid. But there are other ones out there that aren't a financial cap or a financial decision. It's just they're a free agent for a reason. Their current team didn't want them to return. So you have to be careful. And you got to look at it just because it might be a big name that's out there. I mean, I know every time that we hear, say, like, Amari Cooper is available, everybody's clamoring, oh, we need to get Amari Cooper, or Chandler Jones is available. Oh, we need to get him. And JC Jackson is a free. Oh, we need to get him. Well, we can't. I mean, yes, right now, because of the Carson trade, yes, we have $70 million in cap space, but that doesn't mean we can go out and sign 20 free agents. Um, you got to be smart with this. So, in my humble opinion, and it's just my opinion, I'll, yeah, this is just me. I'm not basing this on anything, just the way I see it. We need a left tackle. I would love to see us go out in free agency and get Trotter Armstead from New Orleans. I think that would be a solid plug and play left tackle to get in here and protect whoever is back there in the backfield with throwing the ball for us. So that would be a pickup, and we have the money to do it. We need an edge rusher. I know we've got Quiddy and I know we got Dio, but they're young. They need somebody team that can show them how to do this and show them how to be professionals. So, I would love to get us a Chandler Jones. I think it'd be a fantastic pickup. Whether, we can afford it, we should be able to. But it also depends, does he want to come here? Um, he should. We have a great defense, and we're just adding pieces to that defense to even be better. And we do have the money available, but it depends on his contract. Chris Ballard, he he makes wise decisions financially. We're never been one of those teams. I mean, can you imagine? We could be like New Orleans, who they don't have a quarterback, and they're $45 million over the cap. So you think we're in a bad situation? It could be worse. There's other teams out there that are way over on the cap. Now, granted, Green Bay, they got Aaron Rodgers. We don't know the terms of his deal, but they're over on the cap. So they're going to have to cut players to get under that hard cap number of 208 million. So, Chris Ballard goes about this in a smart way. I mean, granted, I'm just like everybody else. I'm like any other Colts fan. When free agency starts, I get excited about, you know, I want to see the Colts do something. I want to see them go out and get one of these big names to bring in here to make our team better. I want to hear about on NFL Network. I want to hear about it on all the radio shows. Hey, we went out and signed this guy the first day and, made a splash move. But when you think about it and you look back on all the splash moves that teams have made in the past, not all of them work out. Not all of them work out. But this year, I think it's going to be different. I really do. I think we've seen that with the Carson, with the decision on Carson to trade him to the Commanders, things are going to be different in Indianapolis. We've got $71 million under the cap to spend this year. Um, I think we're going to get a left tackle. I think we're going to get an edge rusher. And I think we're going to get a wide receiver in free agency. Those are the three main spots that I see us going out and getting something in free agency. It might not all be on day one. You know how Chris Ballard works. It might be, he might go out and get a big, they'll say he gets Tron Armstead or Chandler Jones on the first, couple days of free agency. That'd be fine. But then he's going to wait and he's going to see what players, because teams tend to overpay the first week of free agency. So he'll see and wait and see who survives and who's still out there. And he'll get the right players for this team. There's certain positions that we have to have. We've got to have a quarterback. We got to have a left tackle. We got to have some wide receivers. We got to have a tight end too. Now that Jack retired, we've only got Mo Alley Cox and Kyle Granson. I think Kyle's going to be a good player, but it's going to take some time. And we got to re-sign Mo Alley. And there's another thing you got to think of. A lot of this money, we've got over 20 free agents ourselves that if the Colts want to bring back, we got to re-sign those guys. Glowinski, Chris Reed, Matt Pryor, T.Y., Zach, Mo Alley Cox. Who else? Eric Fisher, he's not coming back. Heard the news the other day. He's decided to test free agency. Zaire Franklin, Al Quadin Muhammad, Kamoko Ture, Taekwon Lewis, even though it sounds like they are working on a deal for him. So there's a lot of our own guys that we need to sign or either not sign them or make a decision to let them walk. So Chris, they always tend to take care of their own guys first. And that's what I'm sure they're working on now. Like I said, free agency doesn't officially start until next Wednesday. Yes, the tampering period starts on Monday, but free agency starts the third day after the new league year, which would be on Wednesday the 16th. So I think their main priority right now is working on a quarterback. But just remember when this starts, just Chris, like I said at the beginning of this, Chris Ballard is the GM for a reason. Um, he knows what he's doing. He will make the right decisions for the Colts. He will bring in the right players, and I guarantee you, I can't in my right mind sit here today and think that we let Carson go without having a plan in place to get someone else. Granted, we don't know who it is. We don't know what it is. And I would love to be a fly on the wall on 56th Street and listen to everything that's going on. But it's too of a well-run organization where they don't have a plan in place to get a good quarterback in here because we're a team. Face it, we're a team that's ready to win now. We're not rebuilding. We're not retooling. It's not, it's not a whole rework project. We want to win now. And we got the team, we got the players to do just that, win now. So just take a step back, let the man do his job, let our coaches do their job. We'll get the right players in here and we'll make a run for this. So Anyway, I'll be doing another one of these podcasts here in a couple days, probably this weekend, right before uh, the tampering period starts. If we get any news about a new Colts quarterback, you know, I'm going to talk about that a little bit before we sign off today, but I will definitely do a new podcast on that. Um, so I talked about free agency. I talked about, you know, what Chris Ballard does and how he approaches things. But let's talk quarterbacks. Who can we get? Carson's gone. We have Sam on the roster. Who can we get? Uh, let's think. Marcus Mariota. Does that do anything for you? Do you want him on your team? Might be a good stopgap, but it doesn't get me excited for next year. And believe me, I'm a first time season ticket holder this year. I'm not excited to go see Marcus Mariota run around the field. Jameis Winston, I'm kind of like in the same situation with Marcus. I mean, he's got his upside, but he's coming off a torn ACL. Is he going to be ready? Is he going to be the same? Is he going to be mobile? Um, who knows? Who knows? Mitchell Trubisky, no, I'm sorry. I watched him with Chicago, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's because of Matt Nagy and their coaching staff." I'm sorry, but I was just not impressed. I don't think he is the answer, the short-term answer, or the long-term answer for the Colts. Ryan Fitzpatrick, no, that's not it. I think either. Uh, I don't know. Jimmy G, I would love to see Jimmy G get a shot here, but what scares me to death is he's injury prone and he just had surgery on his shoulder. So he's not even going to be able to throw until July. Uh, that scares me. That scares me. And we're going to have to pay some money to get Jimmy G. But who knows? Maybe, if they can get San Fran to eat some of that contract and maybe, so we don't have to pay 27 million for him. I don't know. Another person I've heard about is Derek Carr. Originally, when I thought about Derek Carr, I was like, why would you want Derek Carr? He really hasn't done anything. But I started doing a little research on it and look at his numbers, and he's had a pretty good career. He's a pretty damn good quarterback. Unfortunately, the Raiders haven't put a very good team around him until last year when they made the playoffs. They beat us, unfortunately. But, you know, Josh McDaniels has taken over the head coaching job there at Las Vegas. He says that, the Raiders and they want Derek Carr to be their guy. But they also, Seattle said the same thing about Russell Wilson. So who knows? We'll see. Maybe they'll do something or work a deal for. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just watching. Their Colts are among the teams interested in Jimmy G. We knew that, but maybe they can work something out for Derek Carr. I wouldn't be against that at all. He's young enough where he could come in here and he could give you, 6 years, and we could draft a young quarterback, groom that quarterback to take over when it's time. Other people are saying Kirk Cousins. That one kind of makes me nervous. Big cap hit, 45 million. It would depend on how you could restructure it and how much of that Minnesota would eat. And again, he's a he's a game manager, but he's not that dynamic quarterback that I think is going to get you to the top. Um, I don't even know if there is one out there right now that we could get. I mean, I would say Deshaun Watson, but there is no way in hell the Houston Texans are going to trade Deshaun Watson to the Indianapolis Colts. That's not going to happen. So he's off the list. So you got Derek Carr, you got, Kirk Cousins, and another one I want you to think about. And that's Matt Ryan. Why, he's in the last year of his deal. Yes, it's a big salary, but Atlanta's in trouble. They're in salary cap hell. Maybe they might be willing to eat some of that salary if we take the rest of it. Get Matt in here for say 2 years. You have a veteran quarterback who's still productive. He could come in here. We could then draft a quarterback and have that young guy work with Matt for 2 years, learn the ropes, learn how to be a professional. And then when Matt's ready to retire, this kid could take over. That's a possibility. I heard that brought up the other night on a podcast, and I was like, that makes sense. Of all the things I've heard so far, that makes sense because I know Atlanta is in salary cap hell, and they're looking for any way, shape, or form to save some money. And they've got a high enough draft pick where they could draft a quarterback and they do a rebuild. Just call it what it is. It would be a rebuild. So there's something else to think about. So basically, our choices, free agency wise, you've got Jameis, you've got uh, Marcus Mariota, you've got Mitchell Trubisky. Scares me. Uh, Ryan Fitzpatrick, God no. Jacoby, we've already been that road with Jacoby. I don't think that's going to work again. Uh, you know, People out there that we could trade for: Jimmy G, Derek Carr, um, Kirk Cousins, or like I said, Matt Ryan. Or the last, I guess the last thing we could do if since we did this Carson Wentz trade with Washington, we moved up 5 spots in the draft. We're at 42. We were at 47. So we've moved up closer to the end of the first round. If we could find a trade partner and move into the back end of the first round for this year's draft, maybe we could get one of these young quarterbacks that's in the draft and just suck it up and roll with this kid. Throw him in the fire, roll with him. We've got a good offensive line. They can protect him. We've got JT. That's the quarterback's best friend. We get good, you know, a number one and number two wide receiver out there for him to throw to, a good tight end. Who knows? Maybe that's the way they're going. I don't know. I wish I knew, but whatever it is, I just I have faith in Chris Ballard. I think he's going to make the right decisions. I have faith in the Colts organization. You know, they know what they're doing. I don't know. I wouldn't want Chris Ballard's job to save my life. So, the next time you get on Facebook or Twitter and you want to make a comment, just remember, these guys do this for a living. That's their job. They know what they're doing. I have never seen so many armchair general managers in my life. Um, it just doesn't work that way. So give it time. Let's see what he can do. And I think this year in 2022, regardless of who we bring in or what happens, we're going to be better off than we were in 2021. And I've changed my tune on this. I was one of those guys that wanted to keep Carson for another year and run it back and see what we could do. But something happened in that building with Carson Wentz and Mr. Irsay and Chris Bauer and Frank Reich, where they decided enough's enough. We can't do it. And I don't know what that is. Nobody knows except, the people in that building. So it's done. It's over with. Carson's in Washington. Right now we have Sam Ellinger, and we need to get busy and get some work done. So again, Colts Nation, I will do another one of these podcasts in a couple of days. I'll be doing more and more of these more often. I apologize that I haven't done one in a while, but again, I appreciate if you get a chance to listen to this video. Let me know what you think. Hit the like button, send me a comment, tell me what you think, and I would love to answer any questions you might have or just listen to any comments you got. So, once again, this is Colts Corral with TW, and we will talk to you soon. Take care, Cold Nation.